Good afternoon, good afternoon. Alright, guys. I haven't finished my Scrimba course. Yes. So I was focusing on the wrong stuff. I was focusing on quantity instead of quality, and then I got burnt out. Not really burnt out, but I how can I say it? I go at a really fast pace, and then I skip well, it's not really I skip, but I got a job at a web development role, and then I go to a job, and then I didn't continue learning the course. That's why now when I'm moving to the US, now I'm kind of losing my coding instinct. Right, so now we will continue with the course that I love, as he is one of the really good part that I left specifically so that I would focus and study this part well, because so today we are going to build a Twitter clone. Right, so let's go and watch the video.
We are going to clone one of the internet's most important and iconic websites. From tech pioneers, film stars and presidents to regular people like you and me, when the world wants to speak, it turns to Twitter. Our Twitter clone, called Twimber, from Twitter and Scrimba, will mimic some of the functionality of real Twitter. We are going to render out some tweets from some pre-prepared data, and our tweets are super realistic. We've got some spammer trying to sell us some crypto, and Elon is down here tweeting about a mission to Mars. Now, each of our tweets will be likable and unlikable, and they'll also be retweetable, and if we change our minds, unretweetable. Now, if we want to view the replies to a tweet, we can come down here to the replies icon, click on it, and that will reveal the replies. So we can see that Tom Cruise is interested in this mission to Mars, but Chuck Norris went last year. Now, of course, we'll also be able to write a tweet and then hit tweet to post it to our feed.
Wow.
Okay, that's the functionality. Let's check out the code that we've already got. I don't need to say too much about the HTML. This is all familiar stuff. And likewise, the CSS has already been done for us. We will talk about one or two bits of CSS as we go along, but this is a JavaScript course, and that is what we'll be focusing on.
Yes.
Now, we have all of this data in index.js, and again, this data is fairly complex. It's an array of objects, and each object is probably bigger than most of the objects you've been working with up until this time. But it's nothing to be daunted by. Most of these properties are just holding strings. So we have got the handle, and that is just giving us the name of the person who sent the tweet. We've got the profile pic, which is the path to the image, and all of our images are up here in this image folder. Next, we have got two numbers, so likes and retweets. And then underneath, we've got the actual text of the tweet, which is just held in a string. Now, things get a little bit more complicated with the replies, because the replies is an array. Now, this tweet has got an empty array, so therefore it has no replies. But if we scroll down, we can see that this second tweet does have replies, and each reply is an object with a handle, a profile pic, and tweet text. So basically a simplified tweet. Now, underneath the replies, we have got two booleans, is liked and is retweeted. These are set to false by default. Now, there could be a little bit of confusion between the likes and is liked and retweets and is retweeted. Just to be clear, the likes and retweets show the number of likes and retweets a tweet has from anyone at any time. So I've hard-coded those numbers just to mock up a real...
Right, so according to what I'm assuming, from what I see, feel like that numbers is right here, 0, 0, 0, and then is like, or is retweet is when people click on it to like and then unlike, right? So is like is false equal to they haven't liked it, and then when they click on this, it's going to be like, and then click it again is going to be unlike, is going to be is like false, right? So
Real world
basically
scenario.
that is.
These booleans is liked and is retweeted are for our user, because when a user clicks on the like icon, the icon changes color and the count increments. But when they click on it a second time, the count decrements and the color goes back to the original gray. So that is why we're going to need this boolean so we know whether a user has liked or retweeted a tweet. Now lastly, we've got this property called UID, and a UID is a universally unique identifier. It's basically a unique key, and it is quite normal in datasets to have some kind of ID property with a unique key to identify each block of data. Now, we will be talking more about these UIDs later, but for now, it's enough to know that each tweet object has one, and it's unique to that tweet. Now, when we're building this app, we're going to meet a lot of JavaScript. So let's have a quick overview. We'll be using the for-each method to iterate over arrays. We'll look at CDNs or content delivery networks, and we'll be using them to get us some icons and generate UIDs for our new tweets.
CDN.
We'll be using the text area HTML tag,
easy.
and this will give us a multi-line input field. We'll be using data attributes to store pieces of information in an element. We'll be conditionally rendering some styles, and we'll be using the logical not operator to flip a boolean. And of course, on top of that, you'll be practicing plenty of JavaScript that you've studied before, so there's a lot to look forward to. Now, it looks to me like, once again, we have got a lot of data polluting index.js. So let's start by getting this data into its own file, so we've got some space right here to write our JavaScript. When you're ready for that, let's go. At the moment, the app isn't looking too good. We've just got a logo, a profile picture, and a button. But before we start getting this app working, there's one big problem that I really want to sort out. Here in index.js, we have got about 60 lines of data. And this data is really important. These are the tweets that we're going to be using to populate our app. But taking up 60 lines of index.js is really obnoxious. It just makes it a really awkward place to work. So to remedy this problem, I have set you a challenge. I want you to put all of this data in its own file called data.js, and I want you to export it back here into index.js. I've put a reminder here: make any changes to index.html that are necessary to make this work. Now, you've done this before, so I have left this challenge deliberately vague, but it is totally understandable if you can't remember 100% of what you need to do to get this working. So if you do need some help...
Guys, never focus on quantity. No, not really. Quantity is good, but don't force on the quantity, or you get messed up.
Click on the link in this slide. That's going to take you to a help page, and on that page you'll find some reminders and...
Alright, let's check it. Maybe create a file and paste the data into one file. Export the data.js and put index.js. Remember to use. Right, so let's create this new file called data.js. It should be a what is it called? JSON file, isn't it? Alright, so we do here, copy out this. Oh, let's cut out this. Cut. Data.js. Right, now we print it onto this. Put all the data into one file called data.js. Export it back into index.js. Alright, so how can we do that? We also need to link. Oh no, we need a script tag. Here is data.js. Right, and then how do we export export, export it back into index.js. Export a JS file. So export is we do export constant tweet data. Does it works? Cons tweet data. Right, so we do this. Right, and then we import tweet data. Import tweet, import back here, export a part, import all from tweet data, right? Import all from tweet data, data.js. So it would be this dot slash data.js. Yes. As tweet datas. Import or as tweet datas. Cannot use import statement outside of it. La 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 la. Unexpected tokens export. Let's check here. How to export, how to import and export ES6 Geek for Geeks. Export. Import tweet datas. Right. Export tweet datas. Tweet status. Right, so here export. I'm assuming it's right here. So then export simple export file. All right. Then how do we import? Import emp. Okay, so it need to be in a curly braces. Right, how about now? Console.log tweet status unexpected token export. As tweet so say unexpected token export. Export is right here. Export default. Right, let's see the help section. Add type module to script tag in. Okay, type module. Maybe that is why. Type module to script tag in index.html. Copy this, put it right here. Still has a export default emp. Alright, let's say here export default tweet data. Now that works. Tweet data is not defined. Import tweet data. Tweet data. There we go. Yes.
Also a link through to a scrim where this was explained. When you've done that, all you need to do is log out tweets data just to show that it's working. Okay, pause now, get this sorted out, and I'll see you back here in just a moment. Okay, hopefully you got that working just fine. So the first thing that I want to do is cut and paste tweets data, but I need somewhere to paste it to. So I'm going to come over here to the menu on the left-hand side, and this is not recorded by Scrimba, but I'm going to select new file, and I'm going to create data.js. And hopefully you can see data.js over here on the left. Now let's select tweets data, and we'll paste that right here. And the final thing that we need to do in data.js is use, so I'm going to come up here right to the top, and I'll do that with the import keyword. And then in curly braces, we need the name of whatever it is we are importing. This is tweets data. I'm just going to space that out a little bit to keep it looking nice. And we need to tell it where to import from. And in inverted commas, I will say ./data.js. And this leading dot, it says, cannot use import statement outside a module. Well, I did put this prompt here. Make any changes to index.html that are necessary to make this work. Over in index.html, let's come right. You can see down there we are going.
Right. We got it.
The text inputs that we've already seen were designed for shorter pieces of text like usernames and passwords. What can we do if we want to give users a bit more space to express themselves? Well, we can use text area, which is a multi-line input field. Now over here, I am building one of those useless chatbots that don't really manage to answer your questions. At the moment, it's just a button, and in the JavaScript, we've taken control of the button and set up an event listener. What I need to do now is give my users a place to compose a message, and a text area is just the thing for that. So over in index.html, I'm going to come in here where I've left this prompt, and this is where I'm going to set up my text area. Now, a text area is not an input type. It has its own tag. And it definitely does need a closing tag. Now let's hit save. And our text area has appeared, and I can come in here and write a message. And because it's a multi-line text area, I can hit enter and continue on a new line. And so that is working fine. But we're not quite done. I want to add some placeholder text, so we can do that right here. Okay, so that's very similar to the text inputs we've seen before. And now let's also give this text area an ID so we can take control of it with JavaScript. Now this line of code has got quite long, so let's bring this down onto a couple of lines. And if I hit save, that should work fine. But look what happens if I bring the closing tag down onto its own line. It actually breaks it. The placeholder text has disappeared. So we need to keep the opening tag and the closing tag together. So let's save that and head over to the JavaScript and take control of that text area using this ID chat input. And we can log out whatever a user has written inside this text area by accessing chat input's value property. So let's just do that right here inside the event listener. Let's save that and give it a go. And there we are. Down in the console, we are logging out hello. And likewise, we can empty that text area by setting chat input's value to an empty string. Let's save and give it a try. And there we are. As soon as I pressed talk to me, we logged out the contents of the text area and the text area emptied. Okay, one last thing to think about. We have got these lines down here in the corner of our text area. Now, what these lines allow the user to do is actually resize the text area so it's as big or small as they want it to be. Now, you may or may not want that. Right now, I don't want the users to be able to mess with the nice design of my site, so I actually want to disable this feature. So I'm going to come over here to the CSS. Now, I've got a selector set up for text area already, which has just got some basic styles to make it look good. And I'm going to come in here and I'm going to say resize, and I'll set that to none. And as soon as we do that, we can see that those lines have disappeared and I can no longer control the size of this text area.
That's good.
If we refresh, it's back how it should be and I cannot move it. So that is text area. We are going to use one of these back in our main project to give our users a field in which they can compose their tweets. When you're ready, let's move on.
Right.
A Twitter clone is no good if you can't tweet. So the first thing we need to do is add a place for us to input our tweets. And a text area is perfect for that. This is what we're aiming for. So we've got a text area right here with the placeholder text what's happening. And just to warn you, there's already CSS in place. That's why this text area does not have a border. Now, I'm going to break this up into two challenges, and this is the first one right here in index.html. I want you to add a text area, give it a placeholder text as shown in the slide, and an ID of tweet-input. Okay, pause now, get this sorted out, and I'll see you back here in just a minute.
Give it a placeholder text as shown in the slide. Okay. So right here inside this div, right, we do text area, open, closing, right, and then we do placeholders. Call this what is happening. What is happening, right? And then we do reset, and here we do style dot resize equal none. Right, so that is good. Or maybe we can go into the CSS and do resize. None. Right here. And then that is good. That is way better.
Okay, hopefully you got that working just fine. So I'm going to come in here and set up the text area tag. And of course that needs a closing tag.
Oh yeah, forgot the ID. ID of tweet. How you say it? Tweet input. Right, there we go.
Now I'll bring this down onto a new line and we'll give it some placeholder text, and the placeholder text that we want is what's happening, ? And we also know we need to give it an ID of tweet onto a... We can see that our text area has got these lines in the corner, that has got the ID of tweet. Hit the tweet button. There we are, down in the console. I'm logging out.
Right, now we go into the index. We do document dot get element by ID. Then we do tweet input. Right here, put tweet input, and then dot add event listeners. No, it's supposed to be document. The one that listening for event, it should be the tweet. Should be this tweet buttons. And so we are here. Dot add event listeners. Then we do click. Then we do function. Double here. And then in here we do document.get element by ID. Get element by ID. Blah blah blah. Element by ID. Then we do tweet input. Oops, forgot the tweet input. Then we do dot value equal. Oh no, we do cons. Let's say tweet equal dot value, and then we do console log tweet. How about that? Let's see. Right. Hello. Tweet. Okay. So let's print out hello onto the console. Right here we have, yeah, that's good.
I heart Twimber. Okay, great stuff. We've got the app up and running. Next, we should change tack and start thinking about how we display tweets in a feed. That's going to be quite a long process, and we're going to have to set up some basic boilerplate for our tweets. So let's start doing that in the next scrim. When you're ready, I'll see you there.
Tweet boilerplate.
Okay, we have got all of these tweets in our data and we want to get them rendered into the browser. Now, this is a long process and it's going to take us multiple scrims. This is what we're aiming for eventually. We want to see each tweet with a profile picture, a handle, the tweet text, and then 3 numbers representing the number of replies, the number of likes, and the number of retweets. And later, we'll be adding icons to these numbers to make it really clear what they're referring to. So if that looks like terrible user experience at the moment, don't worry. In this scrim, we're just starting out with this process and we won't be rendering anything to the browser. I wanted to show you the screenshot just to help you make sense of the HTML boilerplate that I'm going to show you in a moment. So the first thing that we need to do to achieve our aim is set up a function that's going to create some HTML for each of our tweets. So let's go over to index.js and I'll set up that function right now. So I'm just going to come in here underneath the event listener and I'm going to say function, and I'm going to call this function getFeedHTML. And I've used the verb get here because this function will be returning us something. It will be returning our HTML string. Now let's think in a bit more detail about what we want this function to do. The job of this function is to iterate over the data and create HTML for each tweet using some boilerplate that I've given you down here. GetFeedHTML will then need to save this HTML in a let, which can be logged out and eventually returned. Now, before we go any further, let's just examine the boilerplate in a bit more detail. There is quite a lot of it, but don't be daunted. This is just a larger scale of something you've already seen before. So in the boilerplate, we can see 6 places where we have got uppercase text. And it's these that we're going to be replacing with data from our dataset. So right up here, we have got the URL of the profile pic. Well, if we have a look at the slide, every tweet comes with a profile pic. And in the data, the URL is right here. Profile pic is the name of the property, and then there is the path to the image. Secondly, we have got the tweet handle. And again, we can see that on the slide, for example, at Elon. And if we have a look at the data, well, we've got the property handle, and that's got the handle of the tweet's sender. We've got the tweet text. Well, that is the actual body of the tweet, everything that you can see right here. And again, in the data, it's just in a property called tweet text. And then we come to the 3 numbers. So the number of replies, which is the first number that we see here, 0 in this case, is actually stored right here. However, this is an array, so the number of replies will be the number of objects in the array. 0 objects in this array. Let's scroll down. We can see there are 2 objects in this tweets replies array. And after that, we've got the number of likes and the number of retweets, and those are both given in the data. We've got these properties here, likes and retweets, and both of those are numbers. So that's what needs to be done first, and in the next scrim, we'll have a challenge to do exactly this. When you're ready, I'll see you there. Okay, so we know what we've got to do. Here is the function getFeedHTML, and here is our challenge. I want you to use a for-of to iterate over the data and create HTML string for each tweet using the boilerplate below. So we've got the boilerplate right down here. Remember to replace all of the uppercase text in the boilerplate with data from our tweets. We want to store this HTML in a let called feedHTML. And then we can just log out feedHTML and we'll call this function just to check it's working. Quite a lot to do here, but you have done this before, so I have got every confidence in your ability to do this.
Right, I have the confidence, but I forgot all of it. So far, blue. Let's return back to here and for variable iterable. So variable of something, right? Let's try this. For a, we need to loop through this tweet data. All right, of tweet data. Right, need something before it, the array through over the data and create HTML string for each tweet using the boilerplate below. Replace uppercase text. Store this HTML in a let called feed.html, log out feed.html, call get feed.html to check. It sounds weird. Get feed. I'm thinking of something else. Okay. Let's do let tweet, not wheat, tweet. of. Okay, so now it's iterate through tweet data. Okay, and then we do, so basically it's like a for loops, but it's instead it's of something else. You want to loop it through something else, you do up, and then we do, let's try it, console.log tweet. Now we close it. Get feed HTML. Try it. Okay, so everything works. Iterate through over the data and create HTML string for each tweet using. So now it's loop through tweet data. Okay. So we do each tweet using the boilerplate below. Replace uppercase text with data from tweets. So first of all, replace this to let's paste it out here. And let's see URL of profile pictures. So it's going to be tweet, should be this. Tweet data dot profile pic profile pic. Can I put it in here? Nope, don't think so. I don't think it works. Tweet data. Alright, tweet handles. It's going to be here. Alright, let's paste all of this. Tweet text. Data.js. Tweet handles. So retweet. Is going to be tweet data dot retweet. Try, and then here is going to be tweet text, number of replies, number of likes. Also handles is supposed to be the name, the handles. Here, handles. Then we go to here, likes. $, tweet data, dot replies. Do they have like a replies, retweet, and then likes. Retweet, and then likes. The same thing, and then we put likes. This is supposed to go here, and then we go replies here. replies here, reply, likes and retweets. So that's us here. Right, we do in the HTML, right? Store this HTML call. Let's feed HTML equal this. Try this. Oh, no. Oh, well. And the account. La 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 la. Console.log feed HTML. I think it works. So, okay, so I need, right, so we do in the HTML to, where is it, feed the ID dot in the HTML is equal to document all right, let's document dot get element by ID. It's going to be here feed let cons feed HTML equal to document.getElement by ID. Then we do feed dot in the HTML is going to be equal undefined tweet data. So it's supposed to be an object. La 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 la. Unknown errors. Profile picture, so it's supposed to be here. So now looping through. Okay, let's slow it back, slow it down. Tweet HTML. Right. Slow it down. First of all, we need to console.log tweet. Alright, try it. Alright, handlers. So it's only show one. So tweet. Log out feed.html. Alright, this run. Now try console log tweet. Alright, undefined class, source, profile picture. And so we got a tweet. So it's handlers handle tweet.innerHTML equal this. So let's console.log tweet. Right, image. Everything works. But it doesn't show. Oh, document cons tweet. Const tweet holders equal document dot get element by ID. This is going to be feed right. Tweet feed HTML feed HTML feed HTML. Tweet is not defined. Feed HTML unclass undefined. What? Dot in HTML. Alright. So we console log that. Now we need to let's do tweet holders tweet holders equal feed html.inner. That doesn't work, hey? Yeah, let's console .log feed html .inner html. So everything works. It's just that I cannot display it.
So pause now, get it sorted out, and I'll see you back. Set up a let, so I'll say for let tweet of tweets data. So get it sorted out, and I'll see you back here in just a moment. Okay, so hopefully you managed to do that just fine. So the first thing I'm going to do then is set up a let called feed HTML.
Let's try. Let feed HTML equal none.
And now I'm going to use the for of to iterate over the data. So I'll say for let tweet of tweets data.
Let tweet of tweet data, and then we loop through, and then we let feed HTML.inner HTML equal this was the whole things. Alright, let's take this here.
And then inside the curly braces, we can decide what we want to happen on each iteration. Now, on each iteration, I want to update feed HTML. So I'll take feed HTML in here, and we can update it using plus equals. And then inside backticks, let's go and get all of our boilerplate code. So I'll
We need to plus equal.
copy all of that and paste it.
Right. So let's try and do that. Feed HTML plus equal this. So it's going to be remembered as well. Alright, take off this, paste it here. Alright. That's good. Now we do here this, and then yeah, basically the same things. Tweet handles, so data, so image, profile picture, tweet data dot tweet datas dot here, and then this is same things. Copy dot handle No, handle just one S. The rest is S. Right, here's tweet text. Tweet text. Right here is replies. Likes. And retweets. Retweet. We do console.log feed HTML. Let's say undefined. Tweet data. Access into this. Right. Dot. Profile pic. Supposed to be like that.
In here. And I'm actually just going to format this a little bit better by bringing it down onto a new line. Okay, that is looking pretty good. The next thing we need to do then is replace the uppercase text with data from the tweets. Let's put the in a property called profile pic. This one is just called handle. So we can come in here with the $sign and the...
So it's supposed to be tweet. It has to be tweet. Tweet. Well, let's try that. Okay. That works. Instead of tweet data, it's supposed to be tweet because we are looping through tweet data as tweet. So we do this. And we do right console.log. Let's do feed HTML. Everything works. Now what we need to do is we do tweet holders dot inner HTML equal to feed HTML. There we go. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Such an interesting project. Wait, there's no object here. Replies. Tweet text. Why does object here? Dun, 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 dun. Maybe that is the replies. But give me a moment.
curly braces, and here. In case the array is empty, in this tweet down here, the array has got 2 objects. So
Right. So in the tweet, in the replies, it should be tweet.replies. And then we do handle, go into replies dot handle dot profile picture. All right, let's see. Dot handles dot all right, tweet details. So we do this handle, right? Then we do if there's profile picture, and then we do tweet text. Undefine. Right, let's Google how to go into an object inside an object. That's some property.
if we want to get the number of replies, which is what we're looking for.
Oh, number of replies only. So here is going to be number of replies. Also value some dot values, right? How to get numbers of an number of value in JavaScript. Dot values, right? I don't think that would works. Undefine. This should be dot value in JavaScript. Numbers, values, maybe that works. Not too sure. Retweet, value is not. Replies, dot, number of handle. Oh, number of handles, right? So we do numbers handle. No. Well. Numbers of value. Native code. String. In object, dot length. There we go. Yes! Dot length.
Right here,
So
0 to 2 for the final tweet. What we actually need is the length of that array. So we can come in here and say tweet.replies.length. And the last two are a little bit easier because these ones are just numbers. We have used a for. Show you next. When you're ready, I'll see you there. Next is, that is pretty good. Now, we have used a for of to do this, and that works, but there are other, arguably better ways of iterating over arrays. So what I'd like to show you next is an array method called for each. So let's have a look at that in the next scrim, and then we're going to refactor some of our code. When you're ready, I'll see you there. Okay, so this data might look kind of familiar. We used it when we looked at the for of, and now we're going to use it again to refactor that for of. So if you remember, we have got data for 4 characters. We've got a ninja, a sorcerer, an ogre, and a unicorn. And I've got a for of set up right down here. It should look pretty familiar by now. And we are just logging out each character object. Let's hit save. And it works as expected. We can see each character object down in the console. Okay, so it works fine, but I think there's an even more concise way of iterating over the array. So what we're going to look at now is for each, a JavaScript method for iterating over arrays. So let's comment out this for of. And now I'm going to take this array, which is just called characters. I'll bring it down here and I will call the for each method on it. And because for each is a method, it needs brackets, and we need to pass for each a function. And this function is going to be an anonymous function, and this function needs a parameter. And this parameter is going to represent each element in the array in turn as the for each iterates over the array. You can think of this parameter as behaving very similarly to this character variable that we used in the for of. And in fact, I'm actually going to use the same name. I'll just call this parameter character. And now let's see exactly what character is by logging it out. I'll hit save. And down in the console, we are getting exactly the same result as we got from the for of. We are logging out each individual object. So if we compare a for of with a for each, there's not a massive saving in terms of the amount of code you need to write, but this for each is neater and cleaner, and I think it's easier to write, and we're using an array method that was designed specifically for this job of iterating over arrays. Now, just like the for of, we can access the individual properties in each character object, and we can do that with dot notation. So let's log out each character's title. I'll hit save. And there we are, we've just got the ninja, sorcerer, ogre, and unicorn, and we can do the same with the emoji. Okay, when I log out powers, we get the same result as we had with the for of. We log out the whole array. What would we have to do if we wanted to access the individual elements in that powers array? Well, we can nest a for each just like we nested a for of. So bear with me 1 second while I set you a challenge. I want you to nest a for each to log out each individual power in each character's powers array. So you've got all of the syntax you need for the for each right here. So go ahead and get this challenge sorted. And when you've got it working, I'll see you back here in just a moment.
Right, so for each, let's do powers dot for each. Let's do powers function powers. Then we do this. Then we do console dot log power. nested for each to log out each individual power in each characters. Characters dot for each function dot powers. Here we do console dot log powers characters dot powers. Right, let's analyze this. Nested for each to log out all individual power in each category in each character's power arrays. Right. Character dot powers. Powers dot for each function. Then we paste it in here, and then we do this. It cannot be like this, so let's try power. Can it be like this? Console.log power. Right. Agility. Blah 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 blah. That's good.
That array, so that could get. Let's delete some of this code and just go back to a regular for each where we're just logging out just one parameter. I'm going to add a system. So if we just have a look up at the array, well, index 0 should be the ninja and index 3 should be the unicorn because we've got 4 in total. So 0, 1, 2, and then 3 for the unicorn. Now let's just log out index and see what we get. Well, we just get the numbers 0, 1, 2, and 3. Now let's add the character's title back in. And when I hit save, we now get a numbered list down in the console. So we can see that the ninja is indeed at index 0 and the unicorn is at index 3. Now, as I said, we're not going to use like index 3. The index each has got just one parameter. I'm going to add a second parameter, and that parameter is called index. And as the name suggests, this parameter index 3 get down in the console. Sometimes knowing the index of an element you're working on as you iterate over an array is really, really useful. So bear that in mind. Okay, so that is the for each method for iterating over arrays. And we are going to use that back in our app to iterate over our tweets data. When you're ready, move on to the next scrim and we'll get to work on that. Okay, so we are setting up the string of HTML that we are going to render out to the browser so our app looks like that. But before we do that, let's tidy things up just a bit by refactoring this function here, getFeedHTML, to use a for each instead of a for of. So that's your challenge. Replace the for of with a for each. Pause now. Give this your best shot. Do flip back to the previous scrim if you need help with the syntax. And I'll see you back here in just a moment and we'll have a look together.
All right, let's do this. So we do tweet data dot for each equal inside bracket is a function we call tweet. Then we do this, boop, delete this. In here, right here, return feed.html, paste this. I don't think I need this, right? Should return right, don't need this. Here is supposed to close. Right. This close, this, and that close, that, right? So now we'll return right here, return feed HTML. Const
right here. So let's delete all of that, and we're going to say tweets data, and then we're going to call for each, and we need to give for each a function, and this is an anonymous function, so we just use the function keyword, and we need to give it a parameter, and the parameter will be each individual tweet. Now you can see that we've got this red line here. That's because we've got too many brackets. Let's just delete that one bracket, because the final bracket for this for each needs to go right down here, right there. Okay, let's just hit save and see if that's worked. And down in our console, we can see that we're getting exactly what we got before, which is what we want. We've just achieved it in a much neater way. The next thing we need to do is create a function that will render these tweets onto the page. When you're ready for that, I'll see you in the next scrim.
Render the tweet to the
feed. To get these tweets rendered just like we've got on this slide, we are going to set up a new function. Now, it's good to have each function as much as possible doing one task. It makes the code easier to read, it makes it easier to debug, and it's good to get into the mindset of separating out concerns. So let's go ahead and set up this function together. So I'm going to come right down to the bottom underneath getFeedHTML, and I will say function, and I'm going to call this function render, because that is exactly what it's going to do. Now, where do we want to render out our tweets? Well, if we go over to index.html, we can see we've got a div right here. It's got the class of feed and the ID of feed, and this is where our tweets are going to live. So let's go back to the JavaScript. We can take control of this div and render our tweets to it. Now, I think we're only going to need to access the feed from inside this render function. So I think we can take control of the feed right here and render out our tweets all in one go. So bear with me a second while I set you a challenge. Okay, so I want you to take control of the feed div, and that is the div that we were just looking at right here in the HTML. Next, I want you to render the HTML returned by the getFeedHTML function to the feed div. So this function that we've got up here, getFeedHTML, is returning all of this HTML string. I just want you to render it to the feed div.
Right, so we do this. Pretty easy. Document.getElementById. Then we do tweet. Right? Is it tweet? It's feed. It's feed. Feed. And then we do. Yeah, let's make it easy. So const feed equal to document.getElementById. Let's do feed holders. And then we return, and then we do feed holders equal to .inner HTML equal to this function. Feed HTML. Feed HTML. Inner HTML. Is it feed? Feed. Okay, tweet here. Console log. Nothing happened. Oh, I need to run this. So this function
And I've put here, see if you can do this with just one line of code. When you've done that,
one line
you
of
can...
code. So yeah, maybe we can do this. Here. There we go. One line of code. One line of code. Clean.
You can just come outside of the render function and call it. Okay, pause now, take all of the time you need, and when you're ready, we'll have a look together. Right, you need to call it right here, and we're setting from a service called Font Awesome. When you're ready for that, I'll see you in the next scrim.
Ooh.
Have you noticed how many icons there are on websites these days? They are everywhere. Take this screenshot from Spotify, for example. These home, search, and your library icons really add something. Oh, look, someone's searching for the Scrimba podcast. Good idea. So where do icons like this come from? Well, you don't have to design them yourself. You can get them from a third party and have them delivered to your app by a CDN, or Content Delivery Network. What exactly is a CDN? Well, a CDN is a remote service. It provides assets to web applications. Now, those assets can be pretty much anything. Functions to do particular calculations, styles, or in our case, icons. The CDN gives us a snippet of code that will bring the asset into our application. Now today, we are going to use a CDN called Font Awesome, and we're going to use it to add some awesomeness to our site. Right now, I'm creating a site for my new dinosaur theme park. It's called Triassic World. I honestly don't know where my inspiration comes from. Sometimes I think I'm a creative genius. Okay, we are going to add some icons to this site, and we're going to use Font Awesome because they give away a ton of free icons. This is what I want it to look like. We're going to have icons for home, location, email, and calendar. Now, getting assets from a CDN is relatively simple. We can go to a site like CDN.js where loads of CDNs are available. All we need to do once we've found the CDN that we're looking for, and I've already come to the Font Awesome page, is click this middle icon here, which is actually going to copy a snippet of code to our clipboard. Now, by the way, this slide is a clickable link, so if you click on it, it will take you through to CDN.js, so you can check it out yourself. Okay, so I've copied the snippet of code, and I'm going to bring it over into index.html, and then right at the top, inside the head section, I'm going to bring it in right here. And now, because we've got quite a jumble of code in this head section, I'm just going to add a comment to keep things tidy. Okay, let's save that, and now let's get our hands on some icons. To find the icons, let's go to the Font Awesome homepage, and we're going to click through to the search page. Now, the first icon I want is the house icon, so I've searched for house. I can click here on the icon that I like the look of, and that will bring up a pop-up. Now on this pop-up, we can complete...
CDN, let's go to CDN library, JS, font awesome, font awesome. Right, download this. Right, remember this. Go to web resource. Yep. Copy tag. What do we need to do? We paste it right onto here.
Ignore this bit here that says start using this icon. We have already brought in the CDN, so all we actually need is the HTML that we've got right here. And what we've got is an iTag with some classes in it. Now this iTag has two classes, and that is quite common. The first one is a fairly generic one, FA or Font Awesome Solid. That tells us that this is a solid icon, not an outline icon like we've got up here. And then FA House is obviously bringing in the specific house icon that we're after. So clicking anywhere here inside this box is going to copy that HTML, and then we can bring it over to index.html. I have got a section with the class of icons bar, and I'm going to add that HTML right here. And let's hit save. And there we are. We have got our first icon. Now I should just add that over in the CSS, I already set up the styles for this. We've got the eye selector right here, and I'm setting the color to red. And we've also got this icons bar, which is location, email, and challenge. I want you to find the icons for location, email, and calendar and add them right.
Right, let's make it nice. Right, email. So what is this in one icon, emails, location. Take this one, looks solid. Boom, 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 boom. Location. This one. Right. Maybe this look nicer. Right, and then what is it? Calendars. Calendar. There we go.
Slide. We've actually got an end by using icons to called FA calendar.
Mine looks a little bit more nicer. It's all solid, I believe.
Have you noticed how many
skip
in app we can put font or refer to? When you're ready to get to work on that, I'll see you in the next scrim. If we compare this screenshot to what we've got over here, we can see a really big difference in how we're displaying these three numbers at the bottom of the tweet. What we really need are some icons. These icons really improve the look of the app, but more importantly, they improve the user experience, as now users will actually know what these numbers refer to. Now, we know we can get some icons from Font Awesome, so let's go ahead and do that. Now, the first part of this challenge is over in index.html. I want you to bring in the Font Awesome CDN. Now, I've put a slide here, which is actually a clickable link. You can click through to this page, hit this middle icon here, which will give you all of the code you need.
Right, so that's easy. If we do comments, yeah, let's first put this in first. Then we do this. Then we do CDN. Font Awesome. CDN. And this. Right. And then now we go into the JS. So here we want to add the icon to, what is it? Handles? No, we don't need handle. Tweet text length. So we go here and we do What is it called? This is replies. Yeah, let's do this. I'm assuming this is what they use. Try that. It not works. Why is it not working? Down. Right. Inside each span has a class of tweet details. Add an I tag. Give an I tag the class it needs to render the correct icons. Next to number, the class you will need are FA regulars, FA solid, comment dot, heart, retweet, FA regulars. Alright, let's try and search FA regulars. FA solid, FA command dot, command dot. So I'm assuming this is going to be here. Retweet. Why is it not rendering? Here I have the style sheet. What is it? Why is it not working?
Need, and then bring it back to for the Google now and code / on Windows, and I'll back in index.js. Okay, now that's sorted. I'm just going to delete inside this function get here and one here. And what we need to do is give each I tag the class, and then we've got tweet or the retweet icon. Is solid or regular. You can refer back to the screenshot. So we've got regular for the comment icon, solid for the like icon, and solid for the retweet icon.
Solid.
You can refer back to the screenshot. So we've got regular for the comment icon.
Regular comments. So the first one is a comment. Dot regulars. Right here is going to be regular, solid, like is solid, like. So here, copy this, try that. Okay, now it works. Retweet is going to be retweet regular. CSS retweet. What does he say? Solid. Looks like a solid to me. Right there. There we go.
Solid for the like icon and solid for the retweet icon. Hopefully to here
Right, that's easy.
The like count is just going to give those a color of 999, which is a lighter gray.
Give them colors. Have a solid. Okay, don't really need it.
User clicks on the like icon, the like count should increment. So that's the next thing to look at. When you're ready for that, I'll see you in the next scrim. Each of our tweets has a number of likes. This one by Elon has got 6,500. And if we go over to the data, we can see that each of our objects has got a likes property, which stores a number. Now, what we want to be able to do is come onto a tweet, click on the heart icon and like that tweet. So now Elon has got 6,501 likes. And eventually we'll also want to be able to come onto the retweet icon and increment the number of retweets and detect clicks on the reply icon so that we can show or hide the replies. So ultimately we're going to need to know which type of icon was clicked. Was it a reply, a like or a retweet? And which tweet that icon belongs to. Was it Trollbot, Elon or Noob Coder? So how are we going to do this? Well, back in the data, we know that each object has got a UID, a unique identifier. So that could be useful, but we can't just give each icon an ID, which is the same as the tweet's UID, and then have the event listener detect the ID of the clicked icon, because IDs have to be unique. And anyway, the ID wouldn't tell us whether it was a like, retweet, or reply icon that was clicked. Now, alternatively, we could maybe achieve this by adding an event listener to each icon. But that would mean having 3 event listeners on each tweet, and we want our app to be scalable. There could be thousands of tweets, which means having thousands of event listeners. This is something to be avoided because it could affect performance and our code would be less dry. So what I want is to have just one event listener on the feed and to find a way of storing some data on an icon element so it can tell us which type of icon it is, reply, like, or retweet, and which tweet it belongs to. So what we need is a new skill. So let's take a moment away from the app to look at something called a data attribute, which is going to help us solve this problem. When you're ready for that, I'll see you in the next scrim.
Right. I think I'm going to hop off for today. Yeah, I will go back at night, hopefully. And keep doing the Twitter clone. So, yeah, guys. Adios.